Hello, my name is Griffin Baumann, and today I'll be making the argument that the basic necessities of life, which I'll define as food, water, shelter, and healthcare, should be provided to all Americans. I understand that this is a bit of an extreme point to some of you, but I urge you to keep an open mind. I will start with healthcare since it is something that is already guaranteed to people in most developed countries. Without adequate healthcare, people run the risk of suffering from many health complications that could lead to egregious medical bills or even death. In the US, 60% of all bankruptcies are due in part to medical bills, and about 45,000 people die each year from a lack of access to healthcare. We pay the most per citizen on healthcare, and yet we have some of the worst outcomes in the developed world. This is because of our diffused and loosely regulated healthcare system that allows for big pharma and insurance companies to get excessive profit at the expense of the health of our citizens. In my opinion, we need a universal healthcare system that works for the people, not corporations. No one deserves to go bankrupt or die due to avoidable health complications in the richest country in the world. In terms of food and water, they're the most basic necessities of life. Without them, you tend to suffer and die. Many Americans think of hunger as an overseas issue, but in our home state of Wisconsin, 1 in 7 children suffer from hunger. At the same time, 1 billion pounds of edible food are thrown out each year just in our state. Hunger also costs the U.S. $160 billion annually, mostly due to mental and physical health complications. In terms of water, the U.S. also scores surprisingly low for the richest country in the world. There are 2 million Americans without access to running water and 110 million Americans that have toxic chemicals in their water. In 2010, the UN declared safe drinking water a human right, and yet we fail to live up to this most basic necessity. Giving our citizens safe drinking water and healthy food at no cost will eliminate a lot of stress from parents who struggle to put food on the table for their children. Shelter is a necessity for life as well as upward mobility in the United States. In terms of life, shelter provides refuge from dangerous weather conditions. This is especially apparent in our home state of Wisconsin, where freezing cold temperatures can cause suffering and even death for those who don't have the resources to protect themselves. In terms of upward mobility, not having an address or access to proper hygiene can drastically lower the chances of getting a job. Put all this together and you have a population of people with the deck stacked against them, but who still deserve compassion and a helping hand. The good news is that this may not be terribly hard to do, since there are about 570,000 homeless people in the United States, but 17 million vacant houses. If we truly care about every single one of our citizens, then we should give them the means to live comfortably and pursue their goals. As a student at UW-Madison, I know you are aware of the homelessness in our city. Rather than push these people out of your mind, I urge you to consider a world where their needs are met and their life is not a constant struggle. If this seems like a lot of help to be giving out, consider that most of these rights I just mentioned are required to be given to prisoners of war under international humanitarian law. If it's a human right for prisoners, I don't think it's a stretch to provide them to our citizens as well.